So no problem there, right? You can notice the difference. Good, good. That's crucial. So just do one more, nice and easy, nice and quiet. Behind. Ooh, that was a nice crack of the shoulder bone there for me. I often notice if I do back off, become a little more languid and smooth, the bones will separate. Now I will hear popping and cracking of the bones more often a little bit, which is desirable in Qigong if you're not using force. When you or someone else uses force to crack your bones, that may or may not be good. Let's put it that way. It's not guaranteed that that's good. So the fluidity comes first, the 70%. See, I'm here, not here, right? I'm just about 70%, and then I pivot on that. Not all the way to the top, most of the way. Even here, you can see my arm isn't really straightened. I'm not straining outward. It just opens nice. Yeah. But boy, oh boy, that's a hard thing to learn. Hard to learn. Actually, easy to learn, hard to do. Yes, yes, exactly. Knowing is one thing, doing is another, so there you got your game plan all worked out for you right there. Go from knowing to doing, and once you master it, learn something new. Good. Okay, wrapping now. I'm going to make a fist, in my case left with a right palm. So I'm going to shift my weight to the left side of the rear end. And this pivot point, this axis right here, I want all my weight there and I want to pivot there. As I do, I let this arm come out on the turn, and the expansion should usher my elbow back a little. So I open, like I always say, like a flower. And then this pulling back at the wrist, more of a bending, not locking, just bending it so you don't stop the flow through the wrist, and then tipping at the waist. And then back to center. Right fist in my case means sitting on the right side, turning to the left, tipping, and then returning. Good. And the first one's always a little tight, a little lumpy. So now you know what to do. Smooth it out, get moderate, make the transition smooth. Sometimes we're so immersed in all the moving pieces, it's not until about the third repetition that we decide we're going to start breathing again. So, you know, eventually that'll show up again. Hey, here's my third repetition, so I'm going to focus on the breath, inhaling all the way to here, exhaling all the way back. Now do another rep, but make it a little smaller and a little slower on purpose, and see if you don't experience something different, learn something new. Interesting, huh? So at first you realize that it's just a more relaxed feeling. But I often notice that I feel more subtle things. I feel the nerve impulses. I feel the energy instead of the muscularity of it. So just play with that. Open up. It's always a good excuse, at the very least, so you can work a little less hard, you know, yeah. Gorilla now, rounding in. Rounding the fingers. In other words, just rounding close like that, like an ape walking on the knuckle portion of the hand. And then drawing upward along the center line. Opening, expanding out from the spine, top to bottom. Exhaling all the way down. Finish the exhale here. Pivoting at the quad, the leg rotates in. Pivoting at the bird nest, the arm spirals in. And do it again. Notice the twisting feeling, the rotational feeling, especially here when you kind of compress and twist a little. How much it feels like it moves the blood through your legs. Should be able to feel the difference. And it's more subtle than muscular exertion or muscular pain, but it's just a spiraling force, a twisting of the wash rag, as I say. To move, to stimulate, keep the body supple. Body's composed in layers. You'll have a muscle with a layer of fascia, with maybe more muscle. You know, if you work inwards to the body, you got the layer of fascia, you know, after the muscles, then you get tissues and organs, and they can get stuck together. So this squirminess is just what it says, just a feeling that everything can move in many directions. No sticking points, no tight points, no stuck points. What they used to call muscle bound, you know, that kind of thing you kind of sense when you look at someone who does a lot of weights that, you know, yeah, wow, you know, but, you know, ask them to get their lighter out of their pocket in a phone booth and they can't do it, you know, so, tragedy. Starfish now, here we go. So yeah, supple. Drawing up, inhaling, opening, pushing, holding the breath, pushing that volume down, kidney bladder area. Good, exhale. Compress, come up. Open up, let it all drop. Come on now, exhale. Draw in, good. I'll do a couple standing up because it's just a little easier to see what you want to accomplish, even though you're sitting down. When I stand, you can easily see this, again, this whole leg moving as a unit and a bit of a twisting force coming through it, right? Top to bottom, yeah, like that. You can actually see the material of the shorts twisting, and the lines running this way, and then you see the lines running the other way. So this feeling, yeah. So in the center line, just get as long and tall as you can, tuck tailbone, drop chin, open, and then drop the pressure down, kidney bladder area. All the way to the ground though, right? Try to get that lower body involved in that pressuring. Good. It's going to be very tempting. If this was a water balloon and I squeezed it here, you would see it bulge down here, right? I squeeze here and the water would puff up down here. So on this one, when we draw up and then open, when you push down, probably because you're sitting, but even as I'm standing, I have a challenge with this, and most Americans do, is learning how to not be kinked up somewhere in here so that you feel this pressure not only go to here, but through the legs down to the feet. And it's not magic. It's not as hard as it sounds, because again, if it was a water balloon, all you'd have to do is squeeze it on this side and you see all the water go over here. You can see it moving in the body when I do this, but maybe it comes crashing down and stops here and you don't feel any pressure change in the lower leg. So we do this often, you know, we do this thing where we bring right hand up, left hand down, and you can feel the blood leaving this upper hand. You can literally feel it, right? And you can feel blood massing here. And all we got to do, okay? Yeah. Now, that's easy, right? Harder in the legs, you know? So when you shift to one side, I want you to see if you can feel more blood going into that leg and not let it be tense anywhere, so you can actually feel more blood go into your foot. Yeah, good. And you come here and it kind of doesn't change that much. You still feel more here than here, but now as I move over here, slowly you start to feel the liquid, the blood invade, and it's slower than the hands. But we're doing a bigger motion with the hands too, see? So this is the problem with the legs, is you really gotta... So what could I do? Well, if I were to lift this one a little bit, now you really could feel more blood flowing into there. But that might be, you know, very awkward, or, you know. But just even an inch or two, but it probably won't happen, you know, it's never going to be as much as the hands, in other words. So anything you can do to help it. What can you do to help it? Remember the 2 points right in the front of the ankle, and then those 2 points right where they held Achilles and dipped him into the, you know, yeah, right where you hold somebody there, you can open those points, this feeling back there, opening, just puff them up like a hovercraft getting ready to take off, you know, that balloon thing underneath just opens up, and then you see the hovercraft going across the water, right? That feeling in your ankles is going to let the blood that goes down there be able to turn the corner and come back more easily. So you're going to open your circulation, in other words. So open those 4 points, and now when you slide over, you will feel more blood invade that lower leg if you hold it open. You feel that? Yeah, let go. Do it on the other side. You can open both feet or just one if you want on this side when you're doing it. Let go at the ankle here. Open the ankle when you go to this side. Yeah. And you can really feel the difference, right? Now, many people go to the doctor and they have complaints of poor circulation in the feet, leg, or they have fluid retention or something. And the doctor will never tell you to open up the plumbing, open up those points so that the blood can come back. They'll never tell you something like this, because pretty much because people won't do it. You know, they want a pill that will open up that thing, and then you can go back to watching Wheel of Fortune or whatever the hell they do. See, so the only way to do this kind of stuff is yourself. So just play with it. But I think you can really feel it easily. I'm kind of amazed how much I can feel it today. I'm really feeling it tremendously. You say, wow, well, could that make a big difference? You bet. Especially if you do it regularly, a little bit every day, or get after it, especially when things aren't going well. You know, if you have any circulation or fluid retention there, get after it with this. And yeah, it's work. You got to do it. There you go. There you go. Yeah, and then do it when you go to get in bed, you know. I often like remove the pillow, lie flat. You don't have to do that, but I do. And then let's see, here I'm lying in bed, see? And usually I have even have the covers off so that I can move my feet around. And see, now when I open up those Achilles points, and then the front of the ankle, and just circle, wow, I mean, my whole foot just goes zing, you know? Now, someone might say, wow, isn't that too stimulating? Won't that wake you up? No, because I'm doing it 70%. Right, it's like having a foot massage, you know? It's just gently, yeah. But from a kind of clinical perspective, by opening the circulation in the feet, especially, and lower leg, you are going to drop the pressure in your body. You're going to decompress, because when that's blocked up, the pressure up here is constrained, you know? So that, to me, leads into sleep. It shouldn't be conflicting at all. So now you can also do it just as we're sitting here talking, see how you can open them and feel, right? And then you can let it go and talk a little bit and then convince yourself by doing it again and you realize, holy smokes. Yeah, right? So what you'll want to do, one easy way to increase how much you move around, not just, you don't just walk, but you, as you're sitting there or in the lounger, you can open one ankle, let it close, open the other one, let it close, right? So I could be in my lounger, peering at my TV down there and just opening and closing my feet, right? Just do it during the commercials, whatever. So find ways to practice. Oh, that's what I said in that video clip I sent you this morning. Just practice where you are, you know? Practice when you think of it. Okay, very good. We did dancing starfish, right? All right, let's go to washing, opening. Okay, yeah, I can remember. I got off on that tangent. So let's do dancing starfish now. No, well, actually, it's not true because it's not a tangent. It's central to this whole thing. Good. Now keep it like a balloon inflating, nice and gradual. The tension isn't manifest anywhere in particular. It's just a filling up and emptying. So it's nice and smooth, very nurturing. Ah, yes, there you go. Good. I mean, knock on wood, I always say, but I mean, noticeable. Like when I go walking, my left foot is performing more and more like my right foot. And I'm chasing down little differences in my ankle. You know what I remember too is I sprained this ankle in high school basketball one time. Super bad. And I swear I'm finding traces of that, my body coping with that, how my body adjusted to that. I'm finding those 40 years later and getting rid of them. So, sky's the limit, my friend, sky's the limit. Okay, so now we do washing the hair, right? We're out at that 45s, feet also pointing, knee over the feet, wrapping here. Make sure you're wrapping chest, midriff, and waist. But in this case now, the legs don't come in at all. So that's a little tricky. Flowing into the eyes, circle the ears, let go, expand, lengthen. Now compress liver gallbladder area. Rotate shoulder blades, pushing against the ground, come up and in. Circle. And flow down. Rotate, come up. In. Out. Good. Remember, just gently approach the tension areas or your limits. Do it gently, and even on the next repetition, you'll notice that it feels a little more accessible already. It just changes so fast. It's a very weird thing. It changes fast if you let it change slowly. Okay? I don't know how to explain that, but Okay. Let's flow into the next one, the giant clam. I'm going to scoop to the right side. Therefore, I'll be sitting on the left side of my rear end, really getting stable here so that the right leg can be on the tip of the toes and it can pivot at the hip back and forth. Almost like I'm walking. And then arching from the hip through the torso and down. So essentially from the hip to the shoulder. Good. Just like you're pulling on an elastic band. Don't pull it too much. And let it recover nice and slow on its own. Good. That's good. Pursue the feeling, right? Pursue that awakening, gentle stimulation, avoid the stress of it. There we go. Good. So it's important to do the Qigong in a way that makes you feel the way you want to feel. You shouldn't be suffering during your Qigong at all. No, no, no. There's plenty of things, though, that they want you to suffer in life when you're doing them. So don't worry, you won't miss out on that. But sometimes that can trickle into this. So we just really make sure this is an easy, very deliberate, highly focused, yet moderate, soft, fluid. It's very much yin-yang. It's opposites combining, right? It's a lot of control, but it's easy. Several reps, but they're soft. We're moving in the body, but most important is our motion in our breath and focusing our mind. One more. Great. Woo, okay. Well, that was an interesting experiment. Going back on the freeway, driving this morning, and now doing Qigong. I can really see what that driving does to you. Wow. Too bad I can't do the Qigong when I'm driving. Okay. I pledge not to do Qigong when I'm driving. Okay. I have to remind myself. I gotta remind myself. So now we're in a nice, static, almost neutral position, wrapped through the chest, shoulder blades, midriff, and abdomen. We're wrapping, feeling that engagement go through the legs. The gentlest of spiraling. And you can let your arm open a little so the thumb moves away from you just a little, and the little finger comes towards you. Now you can hold this position and accomplish a lot in changing your alignments. We're going to soften deeply into it by laying the chin up in the chest. And then when you start looking at the floor, let the back relax and round like the back of a tortoise. That will cause your arms to go out. You don't push your arms out. Now, straightening will cause your arms to go in. So really relax those arms and just let them move as a function of your spine rounding. And if you stay that relaxed, you'll get into areas that were tight before, that were holding you at bay. If you're very soft, you can sneak past your own resistance and start to open those areas. Good. Now let one side drop. And do it again. Back to neutral. In my case, left side dropping. Coming back. And just alternate like you're walking, right? Gentle stroll through the garden. Nice and smooth. Well, you know, that's the thing about being a tightrope walker is you don't go to practice one day and they teach you how not to fall to the left. And then it's not the case that you go to practice the next day and they teach you how to not fall to the right. And then on the third day, you know, on the third day you get your diploma. No, see, it's an active thing. It's alive. Our balance is a living thing from moment to moment. And sad thing is, after being on a planet for 50, 60 years, people get tired, right? And they just start letting stuff do what it wants under the pressure of gravity. Let's call it pressure of gravity, you know what I mean? So since that gravity pressure or challenge or crushing is not going to go away, we have to organize a structure that can let the influence of gravity go through us and not be squeezing our joints together or making us hold weird tension so we don't fall over. That's your first teacher is gravity in essence. So as you sit here, you're gonna feel the feet. If you were standing, you'd want the feet flat on the ground. So you do that, you make them parallel, right? This is a big deal going from this lifestyle to this lifestyle. You can see how it changes my knees and my hips. And we know in Qigong, if you change one thing, you change everything to some degree. It's all connected. So parallel feet, and open the width of your hips or as much as the width of your shoulders, which I tend to do. But either way, parallel and somewhere in between there. And you can fiddle around with it, you know, on different days, different tasks, whatever. We're sitting down, so we start to rock back and forth. I'm actually tucking my tailbone, my whole upper body rolls back, and then I kind of point my tailbone at the chair, and then I point my tailbone, you know, like a duck tail away from me. What my hands are doing right now is what my tailbone is doing. You can see the upper body responding. You can feel the changes in your feet and legs too, right? Yeah. And the analogy I like is you're kneading dough. You're taking inventory of what's there, how much dough you have, what you got to make, and you're going to start reshaping it and moving it around to suit your purposes. So what we're trying to do here by kneading, right, the sitting points, all the way tucked under, tailbone straight, sticking out. We're going back and forth. First of all, so you can really feel those sitting points, right? Half the time people sit poorly is because they just don't feel what they're doing, you know? So you feel those points, and then you try to just settle down, just as if a pendulum were swinging and gravity slowly brought it to a vertical position. You want to do that with your tailbone and your lower back, you see? And when you do that correctly, it won't be a big deal, a lot of strain, because it's not happening up here. People do this right away when you talk about posture, you know? It's right there, you know? It's just this motion, this rocking motion. Make it a watery feeling too. Be soft about it. Okay, so we got to straightening the lower back, which then the mid-drift adjustment is usually the rib is, you can see I'll mark it with my hands. People sit like this, right? No mystery. So I call the mid-drift and therefore mid-spine adjustment this, making sure. And then go ahead and lean too far back there, open it too much, and you feel like that tension that was in your lower back now in your middle back, see? So you know by feeling that's too much. You come here and that's good. Go forward till you know it's too much forward. And so that narrows down where you're looking for your prize. Where's a good line, you know? If you don't do that, your mind wanders all over the place. So narrow it down like that first. And then your job is to find where it is in there. And then at that point, having done lower, mid-spine, and now we wrap to do, you know, shoulder blade spinal area. And that should connect it to our previous work. The feeling of the spine, plus those two long muscles going up the side of the spine, all that wants to become in your awareness now, in your feeling. You can really feel it on you, right? Yeah. Good. And then by dropping the chin, we just keep progressing upward from that shoulder blade spot. Now we're feeling and stretching gently up through the neck and right through the top of the head. And at that point in time, we move the head back and try to align it just like lenses, the crown over the perineum. So if a ray of light came through your head, it would shine on your perineum, right? If the portals of hell opened up and the flames were burning your perineum, you'd eventually feel the heat right in the center of your head, okay? Got it? We're going beyond the opposites. So now we're into that wood energy feeling of the up, right? And the down just being, you know, speaking of NASA, if you were in outer space and weightless, all of a sudden up and down wouldn't mean anything, you know? You know what I mean? Up would just be if you were in a seat and it was this way, you'd call that up. But, you know, the spacecraft could be spinning as you're making that decision, right? I mean, it's just, it doesn't, right? So gravity's the key. Gravity's going to let you feel if you're doing it right or wrong. It's going to get easier when you're lined up with gravity. And since it's easier, you could sit or stand longer, right? With no detriment to the body. But of super importance is the fact that you're constantly relaxing and letting things settle down along that line, right? And feeling, you know, that release top to bottom over and over again, scanning from top to bottom. You're taking your mind through your body and you're relaxing it. And we know when you take your mind through the body, you're moving the energy, right? And when you relax, you can feel the energy more, right? And when you relax, the energy flows better. You know, when you relax, you can even feel your blood moving easier, right? Yeah. So your chi moves easier, and you're keeping your mind on your body, so you're gathering energy, circulating energy. You're not just stacking sacks of potatoes. I mean, the gravity is a factor, but it gives you messages that when you comply with them, you have an opportunity to relax. You have to make your mind in the body to do this. So you open the door for all the energy experiences and benefits, you see? You're literally transitioning away from tension and misalignment to alignment and ease and better circulation of everything from the blood to the energy, all the fluids in the body. Not to mention, good posture leads to good breathing, right? And let's say something non-controversial, something no one can argue with. Good breathing leads to not dying. So anybody interested in not dying, improve your breathing. Which we know is chamber 1, abdomen area, literally expanding as we inhale because the diaphragm's dropping down. And when I exhale, diaphragm rises, pushing the air out from the depths of the lung out. And then when it drops, the diaphragm drops, it sucks air in. So your tummy has to be expanding and contracting. And then really the simplest way to look at it is just let that influence spread out through the abdomen to the point where the expansion starts to feel like it's invading the lower back and expanding, right? Those tissues, and ultimately the vertebrae will start to separate as you inhale, and as you exhale, they'll slowly come together a little more. They'll be alive, they'll be pulsing, and again, that action moves fluids as well, right? The spinal fluid will be pushed along with that opening and closing of the vertebrae. Or you can go to the gym and use the spinal fluid machine, right? Yeah. So this is your only option, in other words. Don't forget chamber 3, when chambers 1 and 2 here, right? Expanding like a bellows, the lower back expanding that way, tummy expanding that way, opposite one another. Then the pressure rises up the spine, up the center of the body, into the area between the shoulder blades, chamber 3. Now you should feel when you inhale to chamber 3 that you have more pressure on the right side of your neck than the left side, and you should want to straighten your head. If you're really doing 3-chamber breathing, you should get the message from the inhale. So literally, you watch me do it. I'm going to let my head cock over here. Just think of me as a deflated balloon. And as I inflate from down here and the pressure ultimately comes up, watch what happens with my head. I won't fix it with muscular motion, okay? I hope I can do this, actually. I didn't double check, but I think I can. Okay, so here we go. There. Right? Just like Macy's Thanksgiving Day balloon, like, what is that? What is that? It has to get to a certain fullness. Oh, it's a turkey. Oh, you see it spreading out, right? And you know, you can see I'm acting out a balloon spreading out. And then the last bit's going to be, right, the foot and the head of the balloon, right? That's going to finally, and you can feel that pressure lead you into correct alignment, ideally. Or let's say that's the intermediate way to do it. Why do I say intermediate? Because after 20 years of doing this, I'm intermediate. I'm sure there's things beyond that that I don't even know about, you know? That were not translated from the old Chinese documents into English yet. Or not, but I mean, keep an open mind, right? Yeah. Good. So now, sitting there, I want you to start to tuck your tailbone and try to feel like you're settling down and let some weight go into your heel, even though you're sitting, okay? So just like a Gutenberg press, I want you to, you put the paper in and you're going to press down by tucking your tailbone, right? And you can feel that pressure in your heels increase, right? Yeah, and then let it go, and the foot goes back to level, right? Now you can tuck your tailbone a little different angle and drop your chin, and you can push against the ball of the feet, right? And you see how my hands are acting it out for you, right? So level. Now I tuck tailbone and I'm gunning for my heels, right? Yeah, see, let it go. Now I tuck tailbone and just shoot it into down the leg, through the ankle, right down the length of the foot, right? Just like it was a shock wave and down into the ball of the foot. And you feel the spine rise and lengthen, right? Your chin drops, but actually get taller, right? And then when you let go, like an accordion, you kind of go back to neutral. And now you're going to descend more, tucking tailbone. The toes feel like they're lifting and the weight's going into the heel. And you drop, right? Yeah. So keep doing that. Inhale on the way up. You should be able to lengthen your whole spine into chamber 3, through the neck and the head, out the top of the head. Don't forget, right? And down. How far down? When you get into the heel, go 2 foot into the ground with your mind, right? Take that sinking feeling just into the ground like water would do. Just keep it going, right? Go beyond the boundary of your body. Let go. You kind of rise a little naturally, relax. Then pushing against the balls of the feet. Again, feel the energy coming down the leg, going through the ankle, making that 90-degree turn. Feel your foot lengthen. Again, like dough. Try to actually lengthen your foot from the ankle to the bubbling well point. The bubbling well point is like if I was snuffing out a couple cigarettes here, right where you grind your foot on the ground. Okay, so that was my toes, right behind where the balls of the toes are, right behind there. And you want to send the energy into the ground through that point. And then when you reverse, you kind of stop. And then when you sink, you draw in from that point, right? Coalesce in the middle and do it again. So the legs are lengthening from dantian downward and the spine's lengthening from dantian upward, right? As you push against the balls of the feet, right? Good. And as you let go, it all kind of washes back to the center. It just contracts into the center. The energy moves from the periphery back to the center, right? Good. So it's a super basic exercise, but a whole body exercise. And if you really pause and attenuate to all those variables, especially the one where tucking the tailbone, for example, is causing this feeling as I tuck the tailbone of a pulling. You can see at the top of my shirt here, right here. When I pull way down here, you can see that go down, right? So that's the feeling when I tuck my tailbone. I eventually, of course when I tuck, I feel some pulling here. But you want to get it lined up so as you gently tuck, it continues and you wind up pulling downward from that C7 point. So the spine lengthens downward. It actually gets longer, but it's lengthening downward. Everybody thinks of lengthening as upward, right? Well, we'll do that next, see? So now what I do is, okay, lower back straight, right? Sitting down. Now when I drop my chin, of course I feel stretching right here, right? But as I pull a little further, I feel the stretching go down the spine. So last time we pulled down here and it affected eventually the top, right? Now we're pulling this way and you can see it affects all the way down, right? Yeah. Make sense? So again, like an accordion, like this, right? This feeling. It's like a stationary earthworm and Spread out, contract, right? Spread out, contract. And you wind up doing the tailbone and the chin at the same time, and you actually get that feeling of lengthening, contracting. So you're pulling up and gently pulling down at the same time, which is that famous wood energy, like in the tree, stuff coming from the roots up to the leaves, right? Food. And then it makes, or whatever, supplies are coming up and the leaves manufacture food and they send it down at the same time. So that's a living tree, and that's all you're doing. You're up and down same time through your trunk, like you're a tree. That's why they put them here. They're really good teachers. The trees are great teachers. Now you should be feeling quite a bit of chi running through your body now, and really warmed up, and wow, woo. Good, good. Just stir the pot, you see. So now, how do you deepen that experience? Well, let's do circles, and I'll see which way the wind's blowing after that. Okay, so to warm up, we're gonna, after adjusting posture, of course, wrap more deeply, bring the hands around, and wash the hands. And we'll just keep it on the quiet side. There's no big deal about doing the circles. Just make sure you do real circles. Make sure you do them 70% of what's available, right? And match the motion to your breathing so it's not too quick. So, wiggle jiggle here. Let the tension of the wrist and hand go. Feel the tingling, right? That's the direction you want everything to go. Waking up, coming alive, relaxing. Put the hands here, let the elbow drop, let the shoulder drop, double check your posture, especially the head, chin drops, move the head back, float it up. Now do the gentle circles in the neck. Always adjusting posture before we move, and then holding the good posture in this motion. I'm breathing in, my head rolls back, I exhale, it comes forward. And then I reverse. And yes, I'm going to slow down a little bit, and I'm honestly going to go a little bit smaller circle. Because it's so easy to go too big, too fast, and chase the American dream. See, we want to chase centeredness, ease, moderation. We're going to have to sell this moderation idea because it's not popular with the marketing people, Hi, doggy. Hi, Mila. Mila says hello. Okay. I'm not done yet. You got to relax. All right, so now we're into what's called the turtle, right? Chin, rising, falling. What do we want to make sure we're doing with this turtle exercise? Huh? Somebody say something? Yeah, I'm just not saying anything. See, I was saying something and I wasn't getting the desired results, so I just shut up, and it immediately turned into your problem, right? And then I let it sit there for a while as your problem. You're like, oh no, it's broken, it's broken. No. This is an advanced strategy. Don't disregard what you just saw. That's how you do it. You turn it around. Okay, what you got to do though now, answer me honestly, I can't see on the little video screen, but are you pushing with the balls of the feet and causing the wave to come through and lift your chin, and then letting it level and go into the heel? Good. If you're not, take it as a friendly reminder. Good. Let's go into the shoulders, circling. Again, motoring them from the feet if possible, with the breath participating. Good. Now the shoulders drop. Keep them down. Keep the shoulder blades down, shoulders down, and reach away and forward a little bit. Now rotating at the top of the shoulder, including the shoulder blade in the upper back. Try to get the places that usually don't move much gently involved here. Make it more gradual. It's like you're flipping on a light switch. Pretend like the dimmer switch. Go from palm down slowly and finish. And then you're out of room, so change your mind and go back. Right? It's not a flipping hamburgers thing, you know what I mean? It's, yeah, there you go. It's definitely not a flipping hamburger type of thing. Classic line, classic line. Okay. Come in and roll around the middle. Keeping the lower back straight, chin down. You almost feel like a top that's finished spinning and you're wobbling just before coming to rest. You know, nice visible circle here. Don't go too far. Keep it easy. Good. Go the other way, of course. Just gently stretching, irrigating, right, the tissues. And stimulating them. Keep your mind on the area you're working on so the energy amasses there. You don't leak it away. Good. Okay, down the lower body now. Just simply turning to one side, extending one leg. Knees slightly bent, toes pulling back. Rotating at the top of the femur. Breath involved, right? Mind leading it, not throwing it around, back and forth, smooth, gradual, easy, and then just relax more and more. Clean your posture a little bit, you know, enjoy the ride. Good. I draw that in to the lower dantian, rotate at the dantian, extend from the dantian. Rotating, right? Essentially from the dantian, right next door to the hip. Pretty easy to make the connection, make that connection. Good. Okay, as Felix would say, radio! Moving along, into the knees now. Must have been some ancient Felix the Cat memories buried in my right knee that I just dredged up. Now they're gone forever. Okay, good. Circling the knee, easy. Again, kind of like a pendulum, anchored here, kind of blowing in the wind, circular fashion, right? Just let the downward open the knee. Don't get aggressive with it. Keep the energy feelings opening. Easy, moderate, good, softening. Otherwise, think of tense spots as where energy hits it and bounces out of you. You lose energy in a tense spot. In a relaxed spot, your energy flows through, but if it hits a tight spot, it can pile up there and leak out, or you know, it's just like plumbing, or be honest with you, right? You know, I mean, how would you manage, you know, water flow and what would mess it up, you know? Good, let that relax. And we come into the wrist and ankle. Circles, drawing circles with the fingertips, tips of the toes. And they're all hooked to this central circle I'm making in the dantian. Release that, let it go, and switch sides. then start the circles. Good. And release. Okie dokie. Yes, indeed. Let's look at a finer point, okay? Alrighty, so the exercise we were just doing recently here with the leg extended, just extend one leg. And I want you to tip the toes in so you feel closing in the quad here, right where my hand is, right? And then when I rotate this way, the quad opens like an alligator mouth, right? Just right there, opening and closing, right? Yeah, good. So just do that for a little bit. Make sure you got that clear in your mind. Dog's coming over to make it more difficult for me, of course. So the foot, there's only one reason in the universe a foot would be wiggling back and forth like that. It's for me to play with it. Which is a high level of Qigong that I don't possess, you see. I'm stuck over here working on my bones and tendons and all this. So I'm going to switch legs for a minute here. Yeah, so it's opening and closing. Just like the dog's tail, back and forth, right? There you go. Good job, Ela. Good demonstration. Good demonstration. Oh, boy. Yeah. Very good. Come here. Jump up. Come here. Not being like too good, you know? Oh, I don't jump on people. I don't even bark. Yes. I'm just a good dog. Oh, there you go. Okay. Good baby. Oh, I like a good dog. There you go. There you go. Okay, so now what we're going to try to feel is shift your weight onto the other side of your rear end as best you can. And what you want to feel is that you, instead of twisting the leg, right, I just want you to feel like you kind of twist the muscles, and that causes the leg to pull over. Right? It's like when you wring a washcloth, right? Yeah, and you can literally feel, instead of just kind of shove it over, shove it back, which gets you going. I mean, it's fine. And it does good things. But we want to feel like, watch my hand, this feeling in the muscles, like I'm twisting, right? And what you're going to feel is almost like if I had a rope or a chain here and I twist it at the top, it's going to wind up rotating at the bottom. Or again, wringing that washcloth, right? When I twist at the top, it's going to twist at the bottom, right? And you can actually feel that you can twist the muscles up here in the thigh in this direction, and the whole leg will rotate, right? Yeah. And when you let go, it kind of goes back, right? Now you can twist the muscles of the leg this way, and it'll roll over there. And when you let go, it kind of comes back to center, see? And notice how that feels. Wow, it feels different right away. Maybe I'm jumping the gun because I've been doing this a while. So if I just do that once or twice, wow, it changes a lot. Tension drops off, it becomes a lot. I actually can feel the blood and the energy go through. Right? Now look at the logic of this, okay? Just gently be doing that. Don't get carried away, okay? Just gently, see? And then let go. And then twisting the thigh this way. Let go. Again, a feeling of like kneading dough, you know? And if I twist the loaf of dough here, it should spiral. Like I'm making a brioche or something, you know? Just a twisting, you know, in the dough. See? Now it's weird, see, because if you look at like physical therapy books and stuff in the West, they pretty much say, hey man, there's this muscle and that muscle, and that's what makes your leg go like this, right? But there's another way to move all that stuff. You see what I'm getting at? Yeah, see, you can feel it. Now, try it on the other leg, okay? I don't want to go too far here because we gotta make sure we're getting this, right? So think of a spiral, right? Any twist is a spiral, right? Yeah, and you can do it, right? Yeah. Crazy, huh? And you can literally feel the blood go through And of course, then you feel it's more sensitive, more alive feeling. The energy is giving that feeling, right? Otherwise, you'd have that feeling. You must keep your mind there. Otherwise, wherever your mind goes, your energy starts to go over there. See, so you have to spiral that energy. It's a decision in the mind to do that motion and to let it go. It's a decision to spiral. Energy follows. Let it go. And that was what gives it that alive feeling. And here's my thesis in a sense. You don't have that feeling when you're just muscle. It warms up a little. It lubricates. It's like mechanically it gets better. But when you switch to this modality, all of a sudden it's like the nerves are involved. And right? Yeah, good. So, okay, good. So now even when you stop, you can feel how you energize that area, woke it up. And it started migrating down the legs, you know? Yeah. Good, see? So we won't, I'm just going to keep it super simple and ask you to practice that, see? So now you could do one of many things. You could set up the iPad and just dissolve the neck, you know? But if it turns out you're getting that pretty well under control, you could practice a few of those, keeping the neck straight, see? But if you can't do it, then stop moving and go back to just fixing the neck, okay? You're going to have to fix that first. But I'm just saying, if you get that in order, you could do a few of these too, you know what I mean? With that work on that spiraling energy. Good. So that would be a good thing to do. That spiraling, think of it logically. If I put a towel in a pail of water, when I pick it up, a certain amount of water drains out, right? And if I take that towel and turn sideways, probably a little more is going to drip out, you know? But when I twist it, lots of more water comes out, right? A lot more water comes out. So what you're learning to do is, how do we move blood? Because we know the energy follows the blood. How do we move the blood around without having to run a marathon or torture your body or feel pain, right? That's the problem in the West, is everybody thinks I got to run a marathon or cause pain to where my muscles are failing. Oh, I moved my blood. Well, that's kind of stupid, you know what I mean? It's what athletes do to go past their limits. People need to function within their limits. All right, if you're an athlete, go beyond. But the method of the athlete should not be the healthful approach of the average person. So when you spiral the leg and it's called spiraling, okay? When you spiral that and feel the muscles spin around, right? Internally, just like the twist moves so much more water, you move your blood and you move your energy. And so you make the tissues more supple. Instead of like when you do race and running, you're actually damaging tissues. And you tell yourself that's okay because I got the blood pumping. I'm feeling the burn, you know. Well, you know, if you come home from going out to dinner and somebody burned down your house, you wouldn't be very happy, right? So this idea of feeling the burn has got to go, you know. Or let the people that are attracted to that do that, you know what I mean? But we all know where it leads. Good. All right, so that's, you know, that's pretty, you know, that's sneaky. That's inside stuff. See, that's, you're not going to see this in an intro class anywhere, you know. And you're ready for it. I think you had a good experience with it right there. You can definitely feel it. Yeah. So I think we got to get that circulation going down there more, get more energy down there, moving the legs ready for the trauma of standing, right? We'll try to make the trauma as minimal as possible with good posture and all that. But you see what I'm getting at, you know. There's no way around it. Now, also, what's cool is this. If you were just to start standing a lot, you could hurt something or you could fall down. But this way, you'll slowly start to master the legs and improve the circulation there. And, you know, you'll be able to tell if you're successful to the point where standing is not a dangerous, threatening, you know, crapshoot. What if you never get to that point? Let's look at the worst case scenario. What if you never get that far? Well, I guarantee you, your circulation will still be much better. Your legs will be much stronger. They'll be in much better shape than if you just start abusing them trying to stand, you know. So even if you didn't get all the way to standing, you would still improve the lower body health dramatically, you know, even if you just got up to the threshold of standing and didn't do it. But I think, you know, honestly, if you get that far and you're moving in the right direction, it won't stop. It'll happen, right? So that's my whole theory about today's exercise, and it's more about teaching you how to do it. We did enough to where you felt it, you know, but I want you to focus on that neck, and then do your basic 8, and then